For just a moment here, let me take you along for a story. You're a greedy CEO who revived a dead franchise just to make a quick buck. You look around, do everything as cheaply as possible. You don't expect the foundation of the place you're building on. You steal old code to rush the development of things. You lead a man working for you, practically for free, before making him go insane so nobody will listen to him. But that's not enough. You need to get rid of the staff. They cost too much. Even when paying them the bare minimum the law requires. You decide to take that stolen code you want to use to speed up the development of the games you used to get rid of the stigma around the company you bought. You fire the imaginative side of the team. It's not like they're doing anything anyway. And the AI could do it all. And yet, things start to go wrong. The bots you asked to be made start freaking out, acting out, performing in ways you didn't ask to be coded in. You can't be at fault here. It has to be the man who's telling you not to do this. And yet, when you try to give him an ultimatum, admit or die, he chooses die. You go in. The AI has learned from you. It learned to put its own wants above others' needs. And that combined with how it learned to play twisted games, you've made a monster. One that will play games, twisted with the violence learned from one day. And now, you're trapped in an airtight trunk of a tree you made to make sure that you didn't need to pay anyone. Banging on the doors, you're screaming, asking to be let out, but nobody can hear you. And in your final moments, all you can think about is how that guy should have tried harder to make sure you didn't fuck up. And now, it's learned to put its want to play games other people's need to live. And then he fucks around as a bunny corpse man for a while before just kind of fucking off. Welcome to The Mimic, a great idea ruined by sloppy execution. What I said before? That was the story of Mr. Burroughs, as it was said in the tale story, the storyteller, with a little bit of, a little bit of me just embellishing it a bit just to make a cleaner story. It's the whole thing, go read it. In his attempt to replace his workforce with an AI, things go wrong fast. I wonder if there could be a reason why the writers would write that. Yeah, I guess this is the part where we say, fuck AI in the workplace, we're all about paying people fairly and what they deserve. Anyway, The Mimic is an idea that I do genuinely want to like. The idea of a greedy CEO rebooting a brand and then trying to cut corners with AI is not only topical, it's a story that needs to be told, and Fnaf is a pretty good series to do it with. While it does walk away from the more supernatural side that Fnaf has had, it's still a story I think Fnaf could do a lot with. Fnaf has always shown the flaws of capitalism, and this is another great example. Or it would be if we didn't have to talk about the damn Peapot issue. As it stands, The Mimic is just an excuse to bring William Afton back. Well, he was until Ruin, where they tried to say his ending didn't happen and run away and act like nothing ever happened or was ever wrong. I have mixed opinions on The Mimic, because there are aspects I like, and rabbit-shaped ones I don't like. I think The Mimic has the chance to be the perfect warning story. Don't replace your staff with AI, you will die. But as it stands, he's a plot device. He's a plot device to get rid of Peepaw. He's a plot device to keep Gregory off screen. He's a plot device to explain away Glitch Trap. Although, to be fair, with Glitch Trap, that's probably the least issues I have with this. If it was just Glitch Trap, mimicking William Afton through mimicking, like we saw while being pushed into the Freddy Fazbear virtual experience, then I'd not be as upset as I am, because the AI mimicking a company that's trying to hide its past, but mimicking the past they're trying to hide, is a great idea. Then we get Security Breach. Security Breach isn't a finished game. Its story was never finished, and that caused many things to go nowhere. And nowhere is that more obvious than Peepaw Afton. That name didn't just drop out of nowhere. It's because all he is. For Burntrap, they tried to lean away from the overly human aspects of Scraptrap by leaning into the more zombie-like nature of Springtrap. Both Scraptrap and Burntrap not understanding what makes Springtrap so scary was the mix. That's why Glitchtrap was terrifying. He never talked. You couldn't tell what was under the mask. Was it a mask? Or was it just a digital manifestation? Was he a ghost, an AI that's mimicking a mass murderer? Who knows? But now he's able to affect Sek in a way that William never could while undead unless you look at Twisted Ones. Peepaw looks like if he got into a fight with a weak Breeze, the Breeze would win. That's why I say the Mimic is a plot device. Nobody who likes Peepaw likes him for the reasons that Steelwool were trying to make you like him. And then come the DLC to finish up the story of the base game. They ignore Burntrap outside of using the boss room to show that his boss fight didn't happen, therefore ending his story, and he doesn't exist unless you're like me and think Mex is Glitch Trap, but since it's not a fact, I won't treat it as such. And while people will bring up tales being written before Security Breach came out, I have two major counterpoints. One, it mentions things from when Security Breach was a very different story, like the pizza-shaped Pizzaplex. Very much isn't in the final game, but in the concept art, it very much was. it pulls information from the beta of the game rather than the final game, meaning Tales of the whole has to be taken with a major grain of salt, as we don't entirely know what is or isn't from the cut version of the game that we never got. And secondly, I'm going to show a clip I've shown a few times now.
Will there be any Easter eggs in Security Breach?
It's funny, we have, so we got, because of the deep lore and because of the history, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we were able to do that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you want to talk about some of the stuff that we got? J-Top, you want me to?
Oh, you go for it.
So as we're building the game, I get an email from Scott, and he says, "Hey, put this stuff in the game," and I look at it all, I examine it as a producer would do, and I say, "I have no idea what any of this means." He goes, "Yeah, put it in the game."
While yes, this was about Easter eggs, we do know this did go for other things as well. What this shows is that Scott wasn't always there at Steelwall HQ, which is why I take real issue with people using the file name of the Steelwall era games. Princess Cassidy is a great example. The name Cassidy was in the files, but only a little while after the game came out did Steelwall change the name. Now, this is strange because Steelwall don't usually do hotfixes, so why change Cassidy? My guess is that Scott didn't know they did this, so he asked them to change it when he learned about it around the same time we did as a community. He wasn't really that involved with Security Breach, and we've heard of this from people like, I think NTOM is one of them, although I'm not entirely sure on that, so don't quote me as fact here. And to bring this back to Mimic, I don't think Scott told Steelwall the twist. Mimic may have always been the intention, but I do genuinely think that to Steelwall, they were just bringing back William. That's why I'm saying Steelwall likely didn't know about the whole twist, but they probably knew some of it. And here's my thing, right? Gregbot also ruins part of the Mimic story, because from what we can tell from the tapes, Mimic is trying to make Vanessa more like Elizabeth. This is something I can't argue with, for as much as I don't like that we keep yanking back old characters. It's very clear that Mimic is trying to make Vanessa closer to, Elizabeth. So with all the parallels to Crime Child, I have to wonder if Mimic was trying to do the same thing to, Gregory. Which if he's a robot, why even try this shit? But as for Mimic and Tails, so far from what I've read, I kinda like it. Though I have been skipping the epilogues as I only have 3, 5, and 6. And what I said up top is what I got from the book of the Mimic. And that's how I think the Mimic should be done. A greedy CEO trying to cheat around paying people, teaching an AI to put its wants above other people's needs. Now, while the Mimic story is pretty upsetting, it shows that people can make AI with good intentions, but mess up one little thing and create something truly terrifying. And then it starts being able to turn into snakes and spiders and lose all fear factor because it's just fucking funny how hard they're trying to make him scary. When the early Mimic stuff already did that well enough because, it's close to the current world we live in. And that's when I think horror really hits home. When it's so close to reality but just one step removed, that you start to get uncomfortable. And that's just why I think Mimic was a good idea ruined by bad execution. Oh yeah, Ruin! He's there for 5 minutes, was a plot device to get Cassie in the Pizzaplex, and he means nothing other than just being a teaser for the next game. Which hopefully, I get this video up before Help Wanted 2 comes out, and I don't get proven an idiot. So until next time, take care. Bye!